let's have a little heart to heart, because I know you've thought about this before. You've been in that moment with a man, things are hot, things are passionate, and then bam, that final release happens. And afterward, maybe as you're catching your breath, a little thought creeps in. What does he actually feel in that exact moment? What's going on inside his mind when he lets go inside of me? Now, I get it. Most of the time, the world makes it seem like it's just a physical thing for men. Like, oh, he just got what he wanted. Or guys, don't think too much about it. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because here's the secret. That moment says so much more about him than you realize. And what he feels deep down is often something he doesn't even have the words to explain. And that's exactly why today I want to break this down for you. Because when you understand how a man feels in that most vulnerable, raw, intimate moment, you'll see him in a completely different light. And not only that, you'll know how to turn that moment into something unforgettable for both of you. This isn't about being graphic or over the top. This is about peeling back the curtain and looking at the emotions, the chemistry, the psychology, and yes, the desire that happens when a man releases inside of you. And once you know this, trust me, you'll never look at intimacy with him the same way again. So let's dive in, because what men actually feel in that moment, it's not just about the body, it's about the heart, the mind, and a connection so powerful that most guys would never dare to admit it out loud. You know, one of the things most women don't realize is just how rare it is for a man to fully surrender. Think about it. Men are raised to always be in control. He's told to control his career, control his emotions, control his image, even control how much he shows affection. And in the bedroom, he's often expected to lead, to perform, to keep his rhythm, to be the one in charge of how the experience unfolds. So for him, this moment, when he finally reaches that release inside of you, it's not just a physical letting go, it's the one moment where he loses control in the best way possible. For a lot of men, that exact second feels like pure surrender. It's his body, his mind, his ego all stepping aside, and in that split second, it's almost like he's saying without words, I trust you enough to see me without my armor on. That may sound dramatic, but think about it. In everyday life, he doesn't get to take off that armor. He wears it at work. He wears it with friends. He wears it when he's trying to look confident, tough, put together. But in this moment with you, the armor drops and he lets himself fall. What makes this powerful isn't just the release itself, it's the way he feels while it's happening. There's a rush that floods through him, a mixture of relief and connection, and it's almost intoxicating. In those seconds, his focus isn't on what's happening around him, it's only on you. And that's why surrender is such a beautiful word for it. He's not giving up in a defeated way, he's giving into you. He's giving into the experience, to the closeness, to the sensation of being so deeply inside of you and so completely accepted by you. Now, here's the part a lot of men would never confess out loud, that surrender is addictive. Once he's experienced it with you, it imprints on him. He'll remember not just the intensity of the release, but the safety of it, the intimacy of it, the way he felt held in that moment. And he won't just crave sex with you, he'll crave that feeling again. Because let's be honest, men can physically release in a lot of ways, right? But the reason it feels different with you inside of you is because of the meaning it carries. He's not just letting go physically, he's letting go emotionally, and that is rare for him. For women, surrender often feels more natural. You've been taught it's okay to open up, to express, to receive. For men, it's the opposite. So when he does allow himself that kind of surrender, it's huge. It's like unlocking a door he usually keeps bolted shut. And that's why so many men describe that moment as almost transcendent. It's the one time he's not performing, not holding back, not worrying about what comes next. He's just there, fully immersed in the experience, fully immersed in you. And here's where you come in. The way you respond to him in that moment matters more than you think. If you meet his surrender with acceptance, warmth, and connection, you create a safe space that makes him feel like he can let go with you again and again. He doesn't just feel like he lost control, he feels like he surrendered into your care. And that, for a man, is one of the most powerful emotional highs he can experience. So when you ask what a man feels in that moment, understand this. It's not just pleasure, it's the deepest form of letting go he knows. It's the rush of surrender. And it's the reason why, after that moment, he'll look at you differently. Not just as a lover, but as the one person in his life who allows him to take off the mask, drop the armor, and simply be free. When a man releases inside of you, there's something that happens that goes far beyond the physical sensation. It creates a bond. Now, most men won't ever put it into those words because, let's be real, society hasn't exactly encouraged men to talk about intimacy in emotional terms. But underneath that surface, underneath the bravado, the jokes, casual way some men might act about sex, there's this undeniable truth. That moment connects him to you in a way he doesn't fully understand himself. Biologically, his brain is flooding with oxytocin, the same hormone that promotes closeness, trust, even love. It's the same chemical that gets released during cuddling, kissing, or even when a mother holds her newborn child. But when it happens in that peak moment with you, it amplifies everything. Suddenly, the physical release becomes emotional glue. He doesn't just feel like he's had sex. He feels like he shared something private, something sacred, something that ties him closer to you in ways he can't easily shake off. And here's the fascinating part: that sense of bonding can happen whether he planned it or not. Even men who walk into a bedroom thinking they're just there for fun can be surprised by how deeply affected they feel afterward. It's like his body betrays his walls, and suddenly he's left thinking about you in ways he didn't expect. That's because deep down, being inside of you and then releasing is more than physical gratification. It's a form of acceptance. It's him saying, I want to give this part of me to you, and you receiving it. That exchange creates a sense of unity he doesn't feel anywhere else. Now, why does this matter? Because bonding is something men often crave but don't know how to articulate. We talk about women yearning for emotional connection, but men want it too. They just express it differently. For him, that moment of letting go is like a bridge. It's a way of saying without words, we're not just two bodies here, we're joined. And whether he says it or not, he feels it. This is also why men can sometimes feel protective after intimacy. That bond, even if it's subconscious, makes him want to stay close, to hold you, to linger in that afterglow. It's not just about finishing and moving on. It's about grounding himself in the connection he now feels with you. That protective instinct, that desire to keep you near, often comes directly from that sense of bonding. But let me be clear, this doesn't mean every man who releases inside of you instantly falls in love. What it does mean is that his body and mind are experiencing something profound, whether he chooses to acknowledge it or not. The bonding effect is real, and when a man already loves you, that bond only intensifies. It makes him feel like you're not just his partner in bed, but his partner in life. What women sometimes underestimate is just how meaningful that trust is for him. For a man to not only enter your body, but to release inside, it's symbolic. It says, I'm not holding back. And in return, he feels like you're not holding back either. That shared vulnerability builds a bridge that makes him feel tethered to you emotionally and physically. So when you wonder what's going on in his head in that exact moment, understand this. He's not just feeling pleasure. He's feeling bonded. He's feeling closer to you in a way that bypasses logic. And that's why for so many men, those moments of intimacy become the foundation of how they see the relationship. It's the glue, the thread, the tie that keeps him coming back, not just for sex, but for you. One of the things men rarely talk about is just how vulnerable they feel in that moment when they release inside of you. You see, men are not used to being vulnerable. Most of their lives, they're taught to put on a strong face, to be the protector, to be the one who's calm, collected, and in control. And in this moment, when everything builds up and he finally lets go, he's at his most unguarded. And that for a lot of men is both terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Think about it. During that release, he can't hide. He can't control his expression, his breath, the sounds he makes. He can't edit himself the way he might in a conversation or in daily life. It's raw, it's unfiltered, it's the real him. And for someone who spends so much energy trying to maintain tight control, that moment is the purest exposure of who he really is. This is why some men avoid deep intimacy if they don't feel safe, because the truth is sex isn't just physical for them either. In those seconds, he's giving you access to a part of him no one else gets to see. And if he feels judged or rejected in that vulnerable state, it cuts deep. He may not say it, but it leaves a mark. On the other hand, if he feels accepted, embraced, cherished in that moment, it leaves an imprint of safety that makes him want to keep coming back to you, not just physically, but emotionally. That's why you'll notice how different men behave right after intimacy. Some will pull away, not because they don't care, but because the vulnerability hit them harder than they expected. It's almost like they need to recover from the intensity of being so exposed. Others will cling to you hold you tighter, kiss you more softly, because they're basking in the relief of that vulnerability being received without judgment. Both reactions come from the same place, the sheer weight of feeling so open. Now, here's the fascinating part. In that vulnerable moment, he's actually testing, without even realizing it, what it feels like to be fully seen by you. Does she accept me? Does she like me as I am when I'm stripped of my guard, stripped of my cool, stripped of all the performance? And if the answer is yes, if he feels adored in that raw space, it creates a bond so strong that he'll trust you in ways he won't trust anyone else. Women sometimes underestimate the power they hold here, because men don't usually go around looking for spaces where they can be vulnerable. They find those spaces in rare relationships and even rarer people. And if you can be that safe place for him in the moment of his greatest exposure, you'll unlock a side of him that few others ever get to see. And the beauty is that vulnerability isn't weakness. In fact, it's the doorway to intimacy. It's what allows him to feel more than just desire. It allows him to feel connection. When he releases inside of you, he's not just showing you his passion, he's showing you his fragility, his humanity. And the way you hold that moment, literally and emotionally, determines how deeply he'll trust you going forward. So when people ask, what does a man feel when he finishes inside of you? The honest answer is vulnerability. He feels naked in a way that has nothing to do with his body and everything to do with his soul. And if you can meet him in that moment with warmth, love, and acceptance, you'll not only make the experience unforgettable, you'll give him the rare gift of being able to just be himself, fully, with no walls and no fear. When a man releases inside of you, one of the emotions that often follows, though he may never admit it out loud, is a quiet confidence. And I say quiet because it's not about arrogance, it's not about bragging, it's not about ego, it's a deep internal sense of, I was wanted, I was chosen, I was accepted. That feeling for a man is priceless. See, we sometimes forget that men, just like women, struggle with doubts. They wonder if they're enough, if they're desired, if they're actually connecting with their partner. And even though men don't often talk about it, that insecurity is there. So when a woman allows him to release inside her, it sends him a powerful message. You trust him, you want him close, you want him to share that part of himself with you. And that validation doesn't just stroke his ego, it speaks directly to his core as a man. In that moment, he doesn't just feel pleasure, he feels affirmed. He feels like he's doing something right, like he's giving you something valuable. And that creates this quiet confidence that carries over long after the moment is over. It's why some men walk away from intimacy with a glow, a calmness, even a renewed energy. Because for him, it wasn't just about the act, it was about being chosen for it. This is where intimacy has so much more power than people realize. It's not just skin on skin, it's message on heart. You're telling him, I accept you in my most vulnerable space. And when a man feels that, it gives him a confidence that spills into other areas of his life. He shows up differently. He feels more motivated. He feels more masculine, but not in the stereotypical tough guy way. In the way where he feels secure, grounded, and inspired to be better for you. It's almost like fuel for him. Because here's a truth that often surprises women: when a man feels desired by his partner, when he feels that she sees him, wants him, and welcomes him, his entire outlook changes. He doesn't just walk taller in the bedroom, he walks taller outside of it too. He feels more capable, more driven, more protective, more loving. That quiet confidence is one of the biggest gifts intimacy gives a man. Now, you might wonder, why is this such a big deal? Isn't sex just something physical? And that's exactly why this point matters. Because sex that's just physical doesn't do this. If he doesn't feel wanted, if he doesn't feel accepted, the act can actually drain him, leave him emptier afterward. But when he feels chosen, when he feels that you specifically wanted him, that's where the quiet confidence blooms. That's where he leaves the encounter not just satisfied, but uplifted. And this is one of the reasons why intimacy can make or break a relationship. When a man feels consistently rejected, when he feels like he's not desired, it chips away at his confidence. But when he feels like his partner not only accepts him, but welcomes him deeply, his love, his energy, his loyalty, they all grow. So when you ask what a man feels when he releases inside of you, understand that it's not just pleasure. It's a subtle but powerful confirmation that he matters to you, that you want him, that you accept him. And that quiet confidence, it's what makes him stand taller, love harder, and invest deeper in the connection you share. If there's one part of intimacy that often gets overlooked, it's the afterglow. That quiet space right after he releases inside of you, where the intensity fades and the world slows down. That's where some of the deepest emotions reveal themselves. For a man, that afterglow isn't just recovery time. It's reflection time. It's the moment where all the noise stops and he's left with whatever truth sits in his heart about you. Think about it. During the build up, everything is about tension, drive, desire, movement. But the moment it's over, his body relaxes, his breathing slows, his mind quiets down. And in that space, what he feels for you comes rushing in clearer than at any other time. If he feels connected to you, the afterglow fills him with warmth, affection, and gratitude. If he's falling in love with you, that's when it really hits him. And if he's scared of losing you, that fear will whisper the loudest right then. The afterglow doesn't lie. It amplifies what's already there. This is why you'll notice how different men behave in those moments afterward. Some want to hold you, pull you close, kiss you softly, and just stay wrapped around you. Others might get quiet, not because they don't care, but because the intimacy has brought emotions to the surface that they're not sure how to handle. But regardless of his behavior, the truth is the same. The afterglow is where he processes. It's where his heart speaks. And here's the thing most people miss. What you do in the afterglow matters just as much as what happens before or during. When you show affection, when you stroke his hair, when you hold him or smile at him in that quiet way that says, I see you, I want you here with me, you reinforce that connection. You make the moment not just about physical release, but about emotional depth. And that's the part that sticks in his memory. The afterglow is also when a man feels the most honest with himself. During the act, adrenaline is high, hormones are firing, his focus is locked. But afterward, with his guard down, he feels things he doesn't always allow himself to feel during the day: tenderness, love, gratitude, even a bit of fear. Fear that this might be temporary, fear that you might not feel as strongly, fear that he's giving you all of himself and you could still walk away. Those fears, mixed with love and closeness, make the afterglow one of the most emotionally charged moments for him, even if he doesn't put it into words. And that's why couples who nurture the afterglow tend to grow stronger bonds, because in that space, love gets reinforced. The cuddles, the laughter, the shared stillness, it builds trust, it builds comfort, it builds intimacy that lingers far beyond the bedroom. When a man feels safe in that afterglow, he doesn't just want more sex, he wants more you. So when people ask, how do men feel when they release inside of you? The truth isn't complete until you understand the afterglow. Because yes, in the act there's surrender, bonding, the vulnerability and confidence. But afterward, that's when the connection crystallizes. That's when he lies there holding you and realizes just how much you mean to him. And if you can be present with him in that moment, if you can embrace the afterglow as more than just the end of the act, you'll give him something unforgettable, the feeling of being loved, not just desired. So when we strip it all back, how does a man really feel when he releases inside of you? It's not just about biology. It's not just a physical high. It's surrender, it's bonding, it's raw vulnerability, it's quiet confidence. And it's that tender afterglow that makes him realize how much he wants to stay close to you. What that moment really shows is this sex isn't just something men do, it's something men feel. And when you understand the layers underneath it, you realize that for him, that release is as much about his heart and his emotions as it is about his body. It's a moment that carries weight, whether he admits it or not. And here's the beautiful part. You get to shape how he experiences it. When you meet him with acceptance, warmth, and love, you turn that moment into something unforgettable. You're not just sharing passion, you're creating intimacy, safety, and connection that he'll keep coming back for again and again. So ladies, the next time you find yourself in that moment, remember it's not just about the climax, it's about what comes after. The way you hold him, the way you connect, the way you both allow yourselves to be seen, that's what builds love. That's what deepens trust. That's what turns sex into something truly extraordinary. If this gave you a new perspective, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I've got so many more conversations like this to help you decode men love and intimacy. And I want to hear from you. Drop me a comment. What do you think men feel in that moment? Do you agree, disagree, or have your own story to share? Let's start the conversation down below, because remember, understanding him is the first step to connecting with him. And when you connect, that's when the magic happens.